So a couple things. Frequently people have named agents. If you did your documents 2006, maybe one of your people is dead, maybe the other one's in prison. Like, we're not really sure. So checking who your named agents are is important. Make sure that you trust them enough to tell them what your wishes are, because that's really the whole point of doing a healthcare proxy. And I would say a healthcare proxy, the making of decisions is not so hard because doctors don't want to make the decision. They would rather have someone else make the decision. It's actually the HIPAA release, which is a federal law, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. More and more doctors, malpractice providers are enforcing them, I think, to hyper interpret the language in the statute and not disclose anything. So just so that you can get it in 5 minutes and take 5 hours to explain it to your mom might be a helpful thing to do that they're not able to do without that release.
So what you're saying is, even though it's my mother, if I go and say, you know, how is my mother, unconscious mother, doing, they still may not be able to talk with me unless I have a HIPAA release.
That's the law. I'm not saying that's what the facility will do, but that's the law. And then to cover the power of attorney, so I know Bank of America is one that I think interprets extremely stringently. They like it to be 6 months or newer. Other banks like 12 months or newer. Now, if you explain to them that your mom's tied up and can't leave, they may or may not. The problem is there's nothing in the power of attorney statute that penalizes them for not honoring it. So rather than take the risk of giving you all your mom's money and having her sue them, they would rather say, gee, you can't pay her mortgage and you can't pay her bills, and yes, her health insurance is going to be canceled. So it's pretty easy. I actually come to people's homes as long as they're in reasonable distance from where I am, because I know that you're busy taking care of people, and this is a critical document to the care plan overall.
Can I ask you just a practical question? Like, if I have my mother's passwords to like Bank of America, can I just go and move the money and pretend I'm mom?
Sure, but if you get caught, it's fraud. There is.
I was all excited. Hey, we could problem solved.
And I will also say there is currently nothing in the statute that's being considered about digital assets. So I put language in my power of attorney that expressly gives my agent the rights to all my passwords, to all my eBay points, to all my Star Wars games, whatever I got going on, so that it's clear. Because here's the thing. So if you have a Google account and you click that little box that no one ever read, it said that if my executor gets in touch with you, please work with them to help them figure out my online billing. If you have a Yahoo account and you click that box, it said, as soon as we hear that you're dead, we're going to delete your account. And so there is different standards and different impacts based on something as tiny as the suffix of your email account.
So, but it also sounds like, I mean, there's also the logistical problem, which, you know, with something like having a password manager to facilitate some of these things and make sure that while people still have capacity, they're sharing, you know, how to, you know, these are my passwords accounts.
And a password manager could be an index card under your phone by your desk, because we all know if you know any cat burglars, they sit at your desk and they just go like this and then they find your passwords. So, but that's how your kids can find them too.
So leaving those places or updating them or having a way that someone can get a hold of digital assets is also really helpful too. And also, yes, as you're saying too, making sure that, you know, you know where the life insurance or where the long-term care insurance policy is, you know, it's not enough.
This kit, it's called Lifefolio, and it helps to keep all that stuff organized.
Yeah. And I know also that one of the challenges that we often see is that even though, you know, someone has gone to see Deb and has done their documents, sometimes they don't remember to tell people that. So talking with your family, and if necessary, bringing in someone to help that conversation is really important, because it's great that you have that wonderful folio, but if you put it under your bed in that cabin that we sold last year, we're never going to find that stuff.
Well, and I will also say the trend, I didn't know it was in such a fashionable industry, but the current fashion is for parents to sometimes leave unequal allocations to kids? Do you have a question?
Yeah, we do. We do. So let's take our last question. How does a home care agency match a caregiver with mom? And then another question is, are we going to replay this? And we'll answer that at the end. So
in terms of the matching caregivers, part of that from what we do is when I go out, I do an assessment, as I mentioned, and really get to see your parent or whoever it is that's going to be receiving the care, get a sense of their personality, their needs, what they're looking for, what we come to an agreement is really needed. And then we have a large staff of caregivers that we would go back to and kind of see, okay, based on the needs and the personality and the schedule and availability, who can we find that's going to be a good fit? And we put that all together, and that's how we do the matching. So it's really about all the pieces of the puzzle and skill level and that kind of thing.
And just a follow-up question,
Yeah.
Wendy, if you do this matching and this person comes and I think they're terrific, but mom doesn't like him or her, is there the possibility to kind of reshuffle and try again?
Yeah. It's always about meeting the needs, which part of that is making everyone feel comfortable. So if somebody's not comfortable, then absolutely they're not forced to have that person in the home. It's an immediate switch out to figure out who would be the right person.
Yeah. Okay. We just have a few minutes. Let me also just say, in closing, I guess we have a few more minutes. I don't know if anyone else has comments of anything that they want to share at this time. I just want to say a few things. First of all, if anyone has further questions, you can reach us through the info@agingindetail.com email address, and we will make sure that the message gets forwarded to the right person, or if you're looking for other resources, we can match you up. Or similarly, the Aging in Detail phone number is 617-206-4885, and again, we can, by calling that number 617-206-4885, we can put you in touch with the appropriate person to further that conversation. And similarly, if there are family members who want to see this webinar or have questions, they can follow up in those ways too. We can, for anyone who's interested, we can keep you alerted to when we might be reshowing this at a future time. But we're all glad to answer any questions that you may have. And maybe I'm thinking that in light of the fact that we just have a minute before we go, why don't we just one more time introduce ourselves and just so you know who everybody is that you've been talking to.
I'm attorney Deborah Danger.
Lisa Burke from Stepwolf Care.
Wendy Adlerstein with First Light Home Care.
Mary Jane Hunt with New York Life, licensed to sell long-term care insurance, life insurance, and investments.
Paul Collard, New York Life.
And I'm Ellen Waldorf. I'm a mediator. And again, we thank you all for your participation. If you have further questions, you can reach us again at info@agingindetail.com or 617-206-4885. Again, thank you very, very much. Good night.